a shocking truth about Sierra Leone that you guys don't know as followers or subscribers. The government of Sierra Leone has spent over 200 million leones on electricity supply, which we are not told. And yet still they are having issues with car powership, which is concerning. Today, we'll be discussing behind the scene. What is behind this blackout in Sierra Leone? The issues surrounding this blackout is not just a one-man business, it is everyone's business. Don't go, just take a look and then listen what happens, how they disburse monies, how they, they should be accounted for, and then how things should be going. This was a tweet made by the Minister of Information and Civic Education on the 9th of the 1st month 2025, which had 2.5 views, and reposted by DFC government, reposted that also. Over 200 million US dollars has already been disbursed for the gas plant, and over 150 million US dollars invested at DFC GOV in the new Freetown International Airport. This investment is attributed to the President Bio's leadership and engagement on the global stage at David Senge. Hashtag David Senge, that's what they are trying to say here. Which is not part. It is clearly stated outright. Remember, it was stated by what? The Ministry of Information and Communication in Sierra Leone. Before that, these are the questions that there are questions that we should be asking as concern and pertain and citizens that are Sierra Leone at heart. The question is, if over 200 million was disbursed for gas plants, why is it still poor electricity supply across the country? It is a call for concern. And it is not just only a call for concern. This is a call that is supposed to be amended, supposed to be attended to before it becomes worse. And the government of Sierra Leone, with this car powership, we know they are on an agreement. The car powership in the statement said that the government of Sierra Leone, for the past 2 years, they haven't paid them. Yet, we can accept the fact that they have tried their best by paying them from 2018 because it started from 2018. But the car powership is really committed to giving us a supply. I can tell. But also, let's take into consideration that they are doing business. They are not just doing this thing on their own. They are doing business to gain profit. So if the governments have this kind of money, I'm asking, why has this issue been a call for concern and it's still ongoing? By saying, if this 200 million leones, $200 million that was disbursed in January, according to the Minister of Information and Communication, where they tagged the Chief Minister, why are we still having issues with 86 million? I guess that's the amount that is supposed to be paid, $86 or $84 million to the car powership. Or not only that, why is it that for the past 6 months, this car powership hasn't been receiving fuel for their electricity supply? And remember, the car powership is only it's just like any ordinary generator, just that they are standing on top of water, they are in the floating electricity supply. So upon having those things, don't just consider them as any, let me say, are using those are using water power. So no, they are using fuel for their subsistence. And mind you, there are people there that are working. They are being paid. If you are paying someone to work and the job that he is doing, you are not being paid as a business, you are running a loss. I'm not saying we are doing this as a business. The other question is, what specific outcome has this resulted from the 200 million gas plant investment? Where is the accountability? I'm not saying you haven't spent the money. I'm not saying you have wasted money. I'm just kind of a bit concerned, and I'm trying to relate to things that are just a call for concern here by asking this money. I'm not saying you haven't spent it. I'm not saying you have misused the money. Government or people are in charge. But how has this money been spent? On what has it been spent on? How has it been worked around with? We want to know, we want to know, this is what I want to know, not just because I want to know how you guys spend the money, just because why? There are things, the supposed thing that the money was, sent for, we are having constraint with it. So it's questionable. I further, from the press release of the car powership, stating that the government and the high commission of high-ranking authorities from Sierra Leone went to Turkey, Istanbul, in January in agreement was the payment bill. Remember, there was an issue that came up earlier on, which is not bad, because when there's an issue with your business partner, you need to meet and then discuss. We know how the economy is moving worldwide here. We know the COVID has just hit us heavily. It is just concern and relatable. But here, we continue they went to Istanbul, Turkey, discuss certain things with the government and the business that is running this car powership. Yes, they to pay the arrears. The arrears simply means that they own. Yeah. So upon that, seeing another statement from these same people saying that they haven't been paid, the money hasn't yet been received. When they are over serious discussions, government of Sierra Leone agree that they will pay. They will pay by installments, which is not bad. Yeah, which is not bad. They're supposed to start paying in January, but nothing like that. Nothing like that happened really, which is the true. So on February 25th, the government of Sierra Leone we are issued a notice by the car power ship stating that you have met us in Turkey that you are going to pay the money. But yet still we haven't seen the money, and they are supposed to have paid in January. Now February 25th, which is almost the end of the month. They haven't paid for January. Now February they have issued a statement. Yesterday there was no response according to the car power ship, their statement. And the team in charge of the finance or commercial activities of the car power ship left Turkey and visited Sierra Leone and met the hierarchy government, the chairman of the Minister of Finance, chairman of the energy sector, the Director General of ETSA. They all sat in an agreement telling them that we will pay, we promise. Them, because they are a business entity, they know what it meant. It is a nation, not just an ordinary business, like let me say one business or private business. It has to go through procedures and they supposed to be raising money here, which is not bad. After which, the government of Sierra Leone further stated that they will pay, and then the people went back. April, they were issued. That is in the government of Sierra Leone statement that they released. That they were issued a notice by the car power ship that they will be cutting down supply of electricity if they are not paid. Like it's concerning, but it is not as like as it is when we're thinking of it. Yes, yet still they didn't get any response. Later on, they check, they check, and then later they come and they say, after all those visits, and there is still delay in the payment on 24th April. Sorry, later I made a mistake. They continue stating the risk involved in delay payment. That the business, the car power ship are doing business. If they are delayed to be paid, they are exposing them to risk. The car power ship continues saying, we understand the financial challenges currently facing the government of Sierra Leone, and we have insistently sought ways to help mitigate the impact. You understand? Imagine they are being considerate for the government and what they are doing and how they are spending monies. The government should have been also be considerate on trying to attend to their needs or meeting their supposed in agreement with them. They can avoid issues. They want to avoid issues. Let me say here on the note with the regrets. We are compelled to issue what a closure notice. That is to say, upon all those statements that they have sent out to the government of Sierra Leone, they decided to close. Suspension on the 28th May, requesting 30% of the debt amount in settlement. Okay, upon all this, they decided what they will close activities in Sierra Leone on the 28th May. The government issued their notice here. That continues here. It is just because there are things that are supposed to be fixed that are not fixed properly. Yeah, we further go, the car power ship, they take into consideration the nation that is a nation that have infrastructure, like let me say they have hospitals, schools, other big institutions that are supposed to be using electricity supply that is concerned, that is helping the development of a nation. They decided to drop down the supply of power from 50 to 6, which is minus 44 years, which was seized. Okay, 54, which was seized in supply. Yeah, you guys as Sierra Leoneans, isn't that concerning? The other question we want to ask them is that why hasn't this government settled its debt to the car power ship despite the large disbursement? If I say people may try to classify me somewhere else that I don't belong, but that doesn't concern me because I care about my nation. If you place me where I do not belong, it is okay because as long as I'm doing it for the sake of the people, I'm not doing it for my own personal interest. Yet, yes, I understand that's how it's important to me and how it touches my value in society. Yeah, I agree. These are some things that we should be taking into consideration. Can the minister provide detailed audit on the report on how this 200 million was spent and what stages the gas plant is at? this is a question, a concern, a relatable concern. That is to say, if the government of Sierra Leone have spent all those monies, how, where, what channel have this money been passed to? You remember this statement I made that they spent they received 200 million. It was not made by me. It was made by the Minister of Information and Communication. Had it been it was me, they would have said it was a compile or made up stories. But it wasn't me. It was made by them. So if I'm saying anything pertaining that, it is just a concern that the truth is there should be a concern, a relationship that what you guys please share this video to reach the supposing authorities. Not like I'm trying to be against them. They're like, no, it's just that I'm trying to state the fact that there is something wrong somewhere with this money. They are not I'm not trying to say they are bad. I don't trying to say they are wrong, but I'm just trying to say how does this money go in and out, the stages, how it went, and yet still we haven't paid the car power chief for their supply. That is my concern. Stay tuned, there more will come.